Now, economists say the best way to get out of the recession is to rebuild confidence in the economy. Political uncertainty and clear direction with state-owned enterprises are seen as some of the contributing factors to the negativity.
Low confidence levels mean investors locally and internationally are staying away from investing in the economy. This translates to even less jobs created and impacts on consumer confidence levels. There is fear that there could be further weakness going forward as the GDP figures reflect the conditions in the first quarter before the downgrades to junk status. Some economists say the problems South Africa is facing are mostly self-created.
It is completely internal. There is a global tailwind without which South Africa would have had deeper contraction. So the tailwind we can talk about, it's Europe is better, we export a lot there. China is okay, it's not falling out of bed. The US is turning around. Commodity prices are up. The cycle favors SA. In other words, all the stars are aligned for South Africa to perform better. So this weakness that is internal, and it's evidenced elsewhere. When we perform surveys from our firm, we find that domestic investors, in fact, are not investing in the retail sector, in the resources sector, in the industrial sector. It's the foreigners that are participating in those outcomes, suggesting that this is all really quite internal.
Domestic factors around political confidence, political stability. We've seen what has been going around in terms of our political structure. Certainly we know that worries a lot of people, both South Africans and international investors.
Every time that the economy got going, we sabotaged it. The most recent one was in March. The South Africa Inc. unions, business and ministries on a roadshow, what happens? They get called back and the rest is history. So we cannot deal with our issues, promote investment, sustain growth in this type of political management.
Consumers are advised to tighten their belts to make it out of the recession unscathed.
There are a number of things on the expenditure side. Wherever you can avoid getting debt or adding to your borrowing, you need to definitely pull back. All the unnecessary expenditure, luxuries, and luxury is a relative thing, I must emphasize. Those things need to be contained. And very importantly, look at opportunities that you can be productive, that you can be entrepreneurial. No matter how incremental, how small it is, in the tough times that are prevailing and in the time that may come, those additional entrepreneurial, productive sources of income are going to help out. So I think losing hope is the last thing that we should do.
Trade union SAFTU says structural deficiencies should be addressed.
For the poor, we have been going through this hell forever. I mean, the South Africa's workers are going through their worst times, losing jobs, being pushed into precarious forms of employment. The wages have been kept low. The levels of expenditure per person by this government have been declining since 2009, and as we speak, they are way below zero in terms of per person. And that's your first crisis. The third crisis in South Africa that we're facing is that there is just no prospect of growth. There's no vision. There's infighting in the ruling party. There is all manner of shenanigans that have nothing to do with prioritizing the interest of ordinary people. So if Moody's downgrade South Africa at the end of this week, and I want to see whether our minister will again say they will pick up the rent. Can they now pick up the GDP? Is right falling down 0.7%? It's a crisis. And that's one of the main reasons why we're here is the lack of political will to transform the economy. And secondly, is the lack of will to implement even some of the better decisions they have taken over the past 23 years.
Economists say to get out of a recession, we need to build up confidence as a matter of urgency. Gloria Sefako Mosi, SABC News, Johannesburg.